Alert, another horrific attack on a place of worship. A gunman opens fire in a California synagogue on the last day of Passover.
One woman died and 3 others hurt, including a rabbi and a child.
William Lajeunesse is live in Poway, California with the latest. William.
Well, Poway is a bedroom community just north of San Diego. It is also adjacent to Rancho Penasquitos, where last night police served a search warrant on the home of the 19-year-old suspect, where he lives with his parents. He is a nursing student at nearby Cal State San Marcos. He said online that he is an anti-Semite. He praised the synagogue shooting last year in Pittsburgh, as well as the recent mosque shooting in New Zealand. Now, according to the Washington Post, the man identifying himself as the gunman wanted to live stream this shooting on Facebook, but the platform blocked that before it could happen. In this open letter online posted before the shooting here that police are still trying to authenticate, he admitted also setting fire to a mosque nearby here in San Diego. Now, police say he acted alone, he has no criminal record, and is not a member of a white supremacist group. The victims, as you said, 4, a 60-year-old woman who died trying to defend the rabbi. The rabbi had a wound to his hand, as well as a 34-year-old man had a shrapnel wound. He was protecting a child who also had minor injuries. Now, it happened yesterday around 11:20 in the morning. Witnesses say the gunman is about 5'8", wearing sunglasses, a tack vest, a magazine, assault-style rifle. He had about 100 people inside at the time. He began firing 6 shots at first and then a second burst slightly later. Also, the sheriff said the gun may have jammed. Some say he cursed anti-Semitic remarks. Others say he didn't.
It was just in, it was like this, and just shooting like crazy, just spraying. We didn't hear him screaming or saying anything. He was just focused to kill. You saw the hate, and you saw the murder in his eyes. And he had a vest, and he had like clips in the vest. You know, he was ready. He was ready. He came in to kill.
Peace turned into chaos.
So inside at the time was a off-duty Border Patrol agent from nearby El Centro who is a member of the synagogue as well as part of their security team. He retrieved a handgun that was hidden by the synagogue, I am told by a federal official, not his service revolver, fired several rounds, hitting the suspect's vehicle. As he left, he called 911, told police that he was involved with this crime, gave his location. Then he was intercepted by a San Diego police officer in his canine, and according to witnesses, the officer said, "Hands up or I'll shoot." He also saw the assault rifle on the seat of the suspect's vehicle. There was a vigil last night at a local church. President Trump called this a hate crime, offered his sympathies to the synagogue, as well as condolences to the victims. Police are not expecting any additional problems here in San Diego. However, they have stepped up patrols at houses of worship. Back to you.
William, thank you very much. That off-duty Border Patrol agent, do we know, William, if you're still there, do we know if there were shots fired inside the synagogue, or do we know how that transpired and how the shooter was chased out?
No, we don't. At this point in time, we don't know if he had a clean shot inside the synagogue after he retrieved this handgun. We do know that the synagogue applied for and received 2 different federal grants to implement certain security procedures. Actually, within the last month, they had discussions about what would happen if this kind of thing were to happen in terms of when the Border Patrol agent was able to retrieve this weapon. Did he confront him inside after it jammed? I mean, this guy's 19 years old. He may not have a lot of shooting experience. You know, this is a residential area. Where did he get his training? Was he at a shooting range? I mean, this is a AR-style assault rifle. We don't know if it exactly jammed, or was he confronted by the security guard, ran outside, but the shots were apparently fired outside, hitting the vehicle. So exactly what caused him to flee, if you will, if he had additional magazines, we're not, at this time, entirely sure.
Hey, William, let me ask you very quickly, just because obviously the sheriff's saying that the threat is over, but, you know, an incident like this just shakes the core of worshipers in a place of faith. How is that community doing right now?
They seem, Griff, to have come together. It was a tight-knit congregation here, as well as an interfaith community, according to different pastors and priests that have come together about this. That vigil last night was at a nearby Presbyterian church. They seem to have come together. The woman who died, we are told, owned a local print shop, was very generous, offering shirts for free to runs or fundraising drives to others. It did sound like the rabbi attempted to stop this guy and calm him down, spoke to him, and that's when he was shot in the hand. He may lose a finger, allegedly. As I said, the two other victims, the 8-year-old and 34-year-old man who was retrieving some children who were nearby, minor shrapnel wounds. Back to you.
All right, William, thank you very much.
Thank you, William.
Yeah. Tough stuff to hear.
Your question actually was the question that was on my mind, which is what happens. I think everyone around the country, when something like this happens to a community, worries initially right away about the resilience of that community. And it's amazing the communities do have such an extreme amount of resilience. But you worry, are they going to be afraid to worship? Are they worried that some other attack is coming? How is the relationship between the community and law enforcement doing? Do they have confidence that law enforcement is on the scene? So all of these things come to mind as you gather and you kind of pray and you think about these people whose lives have been so deeply affected, and now whose communities have been deeply affected by this terrible tragedy.
And when you step back, it's both, there's some good and bad to take away. The good is that they had protocols in place. They had weapons there. They'd thought it through. The bad is they have protocols in place, and they have to think this through in these houses of worship. And ultimately, vigilance is what will be required, because you call the police, they're not getting there for 2, 3, 4 minutes. It's that 2, 3, 4 minutes of what individual citizens do. And in this case, Jews under attack stood up for themselves. This rabbi will learn more, and this off-duty police officer as well. So we're thinking about him. Big story, and we'll bring all the details if we get more.
Yeah. We also had Rabbi Evan Moffat.